Hi, my name is Trevor Allen, and I'm a member of the Quark product management team. I'm here today to provide you with some in-depth information about two major new features in QuarkXPress 9. We'll start out by talking about the bullets and numbering feature, which lets you easily create automatic bulleted lists, and numbered outlines. Then we'll switch over and talk about the callouts feature, which lets you link callouts, that is boxes and groups on the page, to locations in text, so that when the text that refers to a callout flows to a different page, the callout comes right along with it. Both of these features have been designed from the ground up to make your life easier and to expand the variety of things you can do in QuarkXPress. So, let's get started. We'll begin with the bullets and numbering feature. Of course, you've always been able to create bulleted and numbered lists in QuarkXPress. The problem is, you've had to create and maintain them manually. You could build numbered lists the same way, but if you had to add an item to the middle of the list, you had to manually renumber all of the paragraphs that followed. And if you wanted to create an outline, you had to do it either the easy way, with tabs, or if you're a style sheet user, with different style sheets for each level of the outline. It worked, but it was a bit of a pain in the neck. In QuarkXPress 9, we decided to implement a bullets and numbering feature that makes applying and working with bulleted and numbered lists fully automatic. We wanted you to be able to create a bulleted list without having to type a single bullet. We wanted you to be able to create a numbered list that renumbers itself automatically. And we wanted you to be able to create an outline without tabs and without a separate style sheet for each level. Finally, we wanted you to be able to manage bullet and number formatting the same way you manage text with the familiar style sheet paradigm. Let's start out with a look at just how easy it is to create a bulleted list. We'll start with a series of paragraphs here that need to become a bulleted list. In prior versions of QuarkXPress, you would have had to manually insert the bullet character, then use a tab and an indent here character to create the indent. Or you might create the indent through style sheets, but you'd still have to insert the bullet character manually. In QuarkXPress 9, you can turn this series of paragraphs into a bulleted list by choosing an option from a drop-down menu. Just select the text, display the paragraph tab of the measurements palette, and choose a bullet style from this drop-down menu. As you can see, QuarkXPress ships with a default bullet style. I'll just use that one. There, done. And if I need to add items to the list, the bullets are added automatically. Now, what if you want to turn these items into a numbered list? As you've probably already guessed, you can use the same drop-down menu in the paragraph tab of the measurements palette. Now we have a numbered list, and if I add an item in the middle, the numbering updates automatically. Now this is fine for a single level list, but what if you want to create a multi-level outline? That's just as easy. I'll just select the text and choose Outline Numbered Default. I can change the indentation of the items in this numbered list using the indent buttons on the measurements palette or with the corresponding keyboard shortcuts. And as you can see, the list renumbers itself intelligently as I change those indent levels. One thing I want to point out here is that the bullets and numbers that this feature inserts are not characters in the usual sense. You can't select them when you can't replace them with Find Change. If you turn on Invisibles, you can see that they display with a gray background, like bullets and numbers in Microsoft Word. So that's bullets and numbering in a nutshell. Now, let's dive a little deeper. The default options give you default bullet and number characters, formatted to match the paragraph, and default spacing. What if you want to change the bullet character, or make the number look different from the text of the paragraph? The answer is you can do all of this with bullet styles, numbering styles, and outline styles. And what are bullet styles, numbering styles, and outline styles? Well, they're pretty much what they sound like. Just as a style sheet determines what a paragraph or text run looks like and controls its spacing, A bullet style determines what a bullet looks like and where it's positioned. Let's take a look at a bullet style so you can see what I mean. I'll start by choosing Edit, Bullet Numbering and Outline Styles. Next, I'll click New, Bullet Style. This dialog box lets me control every aspect of how a bullet displays in QuarkXPress. I can make it inherit its formatting from the paragraph, or I can control its font and formatting by assigning a character style sheet to it. Here, I'll assign a character style sheet I created especially for this bullet style. If I want to use a different bullet, I can enter one or more bullet characters here. The size field lets me specify the size of the bullet as a percentage of the size of the first character in the paragraph. This option is available only if you're inheriting the bullet's formatting from the paragraph. The outset field lets me control how far the bullet is from the text. I can specify the outset as an absolute value, such as 1/4 of an inch, or I can specify the outset as a relative value, in em spaces. I might want to use the relative outset if I want this bullet style to work with paragraphs that have different point sizes. That way, the bullet is always the same relative distance from the text, no matter how big or small the text is. The alignment drop-down menu lets me control how the bullet aligns to the outset. This is more important for numbering, but we also include it for bullets. And that's all there is to it. I'll go ahead and save this bullet style. And now I can apply the bullet style I just created by choosing its name from the drop-down menu. Numbering styles are very similar to bullet styles. Let's go ahead and create one so you can see how this works. Again, I'll choose Edit, Bullet Numbering and Outline Styles. And now I'll create a numbering style. As you can see, numbering styles are very similar to bullet styles. You can inherit the formatting from the paragraph, or you can control the formatting of the numbers with a character style sheet. Here again, I'm going to specify a character style sheet that makes the numbers yellow and uses a different font. This here is the Format drop-down menu. This controls the type of numbering the numbering style applies. I'm going to choose lowercase Roman numerals. These are the prefix and suffix fields. You can use these fields to add a period after the number or to put brackets around it or both. I'm going to add a period after the number. And down here we have the same size, outset, and alignment controls that we have for bullet styles. Now I'll just save my numbering style. Right away, it's available in the drop-down menu in the Measurements palette. Now let's talk about outline styles. As you saw earlier, you can use outline styles to control the formatting of multi-level lists. Let's start by choosing Edit, Bullet Numbering and Outline Styles. Now I'll create an outline style. As you can see, an outline style has multiple indent levels. Each level has its own indent distance, so you can control your indenting precisely. Each level can also have its own bullet or numbering style. You can apply any bullet or numbering style to any level. You can even use both bullet and numbering styles in a single outline style. Here I'm going to use some numbering styles that I already created to create a 5-level outline style that uses a different numbering style on each level and several different indent amounts. Outline styles can have up to 9 levels. Now I'll save my outline style. Again, my outline style is immediately available in the drop-down menu in the Measurements palette. When I use the indent buttons to move a paragraph from one level to the next, each level automatically uses the proper indent and numbering style. You can also use outline styles to create concatenated numbering. For example, assume you're working on a document where you want the numbering to work like this, where each level includes all of the numbers from higher levels. To show you how to accomplish this in QuarkXPress, I'm going to open the outline style that was used to create this list. As you can see, I checked the Include Lower Levels box in the outline style for each of the first 5 levels. To the right of each checkbox, there's an editable field that lets you choose a character to be inserted between the levels. By default now, this is a period, but you can change it to whatever you like. I'll go ahead and close this outline style now. Now, you may have noticed that for most of these paragraphs, these concatenated numbers are so long that they push the first line of text to the right. QuarkXPress does this automatically so that the numbers don't overlap the text. You can control the distance between the number and the text, this distance here, by choosing Style Formats and then entering a value in the minimum bullet/number distance from text field. While we're here, I'll point out that you can also view or change the bullet numbering and outline style for the selected paragraphs here. And if you need to manually restart a list, you can check Restart Numbering and then specify the number where the list should restart. So, how do bullet numbering and outline styles play with paragraph style sheets? Quite well, actually. You can apply bullet numbering and outline styles as local formatting, as we have been so far, or you can specify them in style sheets. In fact, the paragraphs you see here have their numbering style applied through their style sheet. Let me show you what I mean. I'll choose Edit, Style Sheets, then select my concatenated list paragraph style, and click Edit. Now I'll click the Formats tab. As you can see, the outline style is attached to the style sheet. Here's a nice feature. If you specify a bullet, numbering, or outline style in a paragraph style sheet, and then change the indent level with the indent buttons, the Style Sheets palette does not indicate that the paragraph has local formatting. That's because QuarkXPress applies indents and outsets on top of whatever formatting you've defined in the paragraph style sheet. If I choose Style Formats and display the Paragraph Attributes dialog box for this paragraph, you can see that it has a left indent of 0, despite the fact that it's visually indented by almost an inch. This clean separation between paragraph indents and outline indents means you don't see a local formatting flag unless there's real local formatting. This may sound a little esoteric, but if you make heavy use of style sheets, you probably understand what I mean. Another nice thing about bullet numbering and outline styles is the fact that they're resources, just like style sheets and colors. That means you can put your bullet, numbering, and outline styles in a shared job jackets file and make sure that everybody in your workgroup is using the same bullet and numbering formats. For example, say I wanted to put the bullet and numbering styles I've created in this document into a job jackets file. First, I would choose Utilities, Job Jackets Manager to display the Job Jackets Manager dialog box. Next, I would create a new Job Jackets file and name it sharedjobjackets.xml. Then I would expand both job jackets here and then select the project icon. Now when I click Bullet and Numbering Styles on the right, my bullet, numbering, and outline styles display here. Now I can select the ones I want to share and drag them to my Shared Job Jackets icon. Finally, I'll click Save, then Close. Now I can put that Job Jackets file on a server, and everyone in my work group can link to it and use those styles. So, what if you author your content in Microsoft Word and then import it into QuarkXPress? No problem. Bullets and numbering in QuarkXPress are compatible with the bullets and numbering in Word. To demonstrate, I'll delete all of the text in this box, and then I'll import a Word file that uses bullets and numbering. As you can see, the formatting from Word has been preserved. That means you can import a numbered list from Word, insert an item in the middle of the list, and get automatic renumbering. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about another new feature in QuarkXPress 9. This feature is called Callouts, and it can make many of your layout tasks easier than ever. A callout is a box or group that is linked to an invisible character in text called callout anchor. When a callout anchor moves from one page to another, the callout comes right along with it. You can set up a callout to always be in the same position on the page, or to follow the callout anchor around on the page as the text reflows. For example, here's a callout that always stays in the same location on the page. And here's a callout that follows its callout anchor as it moves down the page. As you've probably already surmised, this is an extremely useful feature for long documents. Imagine, for example, that you're laying out a textbook chapter that makes extensive use of illustrations in the margins. You're almost done with the layout when suddenly the author asks you to add a page of content to the beginning. Before the callouts feature, you'd have to manually move every single callout in that chapter to the next page, one after the other. With the callouts feature, though, you literally have to do nothing. All of the figures would move to the next page automatically. To illustrate this feature, I'll insert a callout anchor and associate it with the group on the right of the first column. To create a callout anchor, you just position your text cursor at the location in text where you want the callout anchor to be, and then choose Item, Callout Anchor, Insert Callout Anchor. When guides are visible, a callout anchor displays as a little flag icon, like this. When a callout anchor is selected, the flag has a red outline. Only one callout anchor in a layout can be selected at a time. Now that we've got our callout anchor, let's link it to a callout. To do this, I'm going to right-click on this group in the margin and choose Callout Anchor, Associate with Callout Anchor. Now there's a dotted line from the callout anchor to the callout, so you can see the relationship between the two. At this point, the callout is configured to stay in the same place on the page. So what if you want it to be positioned differently? To demonstrate this, I'm going to choose Item, Callout Anchor, Edit Callout Settings. This gives me a dialog box where I can precisely control where the callout is positioned on the page. This interface makes it really easy to set up a callout alignment. You can align a callout horizontally relative to the callout anchor, the paragraph that contains the callout anchor, the box or table cell that contains the callout anchor, the page, or the spread. You can specify which part of the callout should align, and you can specify what it should align to. The inside and outside options let you position a callout differently depending on which side of the spread it falls. The offset field lets you fudge the positioning of the callout if necessary. Vertical alignment is very similar. And as you can see, you can align a callout horizontally relative to one thing and vertically relative to something else. The Allow Manual Positioning of Callout checkbox controls whether you can drag the callout around with the mouse. If you check this box and then you move the callout manually, the offset fields are updated automatically to reflect the new position of the box. The Keep Within Margins checkbox does just what it sounds like. When this box is checked, the corresponding callout is always inside the page margins. I'll configure this callout anchor so that the callout is positioned horizontally relative to the page and always positioned on the inside of the column. I'll also configure it so that it's positioned vertically relative to the callout anchor. As you can see, the callout has automatically moved to the proper position. And when the callout anchor moves down, the callout does too. Now, what if I have a whole bunch of callouts I need to format this way? Can I automate the process at all? The answer, of course, is yes. Just as you can use style sheets to make text formatting faster and easier, you can use callout styles to make callout configuration faster and easier. To illustrate this, I'm going to go ahead and create a new callout style. First, I'll choose Edit, Callout Styles. Then I'll click New to create a new callout style, and I'll name it Outside Margin Top of Para. I'm going to set up this callout style to position the callout against the outside margin, and I'm going to configure it so that it aligns the top of the callout to the top of the paragraph. I'm going to uncheck the Allow Manual Positioning of Callout checkbox because I want complete control over the positioning of any callouts that use this callout style. And finally, I'll click OK. Now, there are a few different ways I can apply this callout style. I can select the callout and choose Item, Callout Anchor, Callout Styles, Outside Margin, Top of Para. Or I can right-click on the callout anchor and do the same thing. Probably the easiest way to assign a callout style, though, is to use the Callout Styles palette. I'll display this palette by choosing Window, Callout Styles. And now, with the callout anchor selected, I just click the name of the callout style I want to use, and pow, it's done. If I want to apply the same callout style again, I can do so like this. And now, of course, if I decide to change the callout style settings, I only have to do it once, and all of the callouts that use that callout style will be updated automatically. This is just a simple example of what you can do with callouts. You can also use them for pull quotes, sidebars, and all sorts of other things. You can use them to create little floating icons that appear next to paragraphs to indicate what type of information the paragraphs contain. You can even use them to create a colored background behind a paragraph that moves right along with the paragraph. And like bullet, numbering, and outline styles, callout styles are resources. That means you can control them with job jackets and make sure everyone is using the same version. So, that's the bullet and numbering feature and the callouts feature. There's just one last thing I want to mention. If you're a QuarkXPress server developer, both of these features make it easier than ever to automatically construct long, complex documents with professional quality layout without having to resort to a lot of programming. I hope you've enjoyed this e-seminar. If you'd like to try out the bullets and numbering and callouts features yourself, head over to www.quark.com and download a free test drive version of QuarkXPress 9. It's fully functional and will give you a full 30 days to see how QuarkXPress can make your life easier. Thanks!